In the mid to late 80s, local hustler out of Houston, Texas named Troy Berklet dabbled in various hustles in order to support himself and his family. One of his many hustles involved him being in the music business, and he was ahead of a lot of things early on, involving owning his own label. In the year 1987, he created and funded his own label, Shortstop Records, which helped shed light on many Southern acts we know today. One of these acts will go on to be a legend in hip-hop due to his fascinating ability to tell stories in his lyrics. A neighborhood friend of Troy named Beto introduced him to a rapper named Brad Jordan, who was going by the moniker DJ Action at the time. Troy, who also goes by the name Lil Troy, saw the potential in Brad right away and decided to buy him some studio time. This led to Brad changing his name to Scarface and released his first vinyl record with 2 tracks called Scarface and Another Head Put to Rest.
I started small time, dope game, cocaine, pushing rocks from the block, I'm never broke, man.
The record gained traction in the Houston area a great deal, which led to Scarface cutting ties with Lil Troy in order to join forces with Jay Prince of Rap-A-Lot Records. From here, Scarface will go on to cement his name in the rap game, as he put out countless classic albums with the rap group Ghetto Boys, along with his own solo projects. Lil Troy also gained success later in his career, as he's responsible for helping a lot of known rappers in the area. This will be highlighted to a great degree when he released a song called Wanna Be a Baller in the year 1998. Lil Troy was probably the first rapper to do a lot of things, as he took the role of a producer on this song while not actually having a verse. The track is titled Lil Troy Wanna Be a Baller, although he doesn't provide a vocal performance. This is very similar to what DJ Khaled did in his day, as he will be labeled the artist of the song while not actually having a verse. The success of the track Wanna Be a Baller is still prevalent today, as it made a major impact in the hip-hop community. Shortly after Lil Troy's success, with his major hit song Wanna Be a Baller, he found himself in legal trouble, as he would be caught with 2 kilos of cocaine in the year 1999. Allegedly, Lil Troy snitched on a man named Lil Potts, which shocked the community of Houston, Texas. Another thing that was suspicious about Lil Troy's incident is that he only received 2 years of what would have been a 10-year to life sentence. People in the community believed that Lil Troy snitched in order to receive a lighter sentence. Scarface was one of these individuals, which led to him dissing Lil Troy in a Ghetto Boys song called G Code. In Scarface's verse, he talks about the dishonorable action of Lil Troy, which ultimately led to him labeling him a snitch.
Right here the truth revealed, Troy you a mouse, yeah you rapping but the homie Lil Potts can't get out.
Lil Troy didn't take light of this and decided to sue Scarface for defamation of character. But unbeknownst to him, this action led to Scarface receiving the paperwork of Lil Troy snitching on Lil Potts, as he had to prove that he didn't defame him. This information will be shared to the public by Scarface in a This Is 50 interview, which continued to shock the hip-hop world.
With respect to the defendant Troy Berklet, the government states the following. The defendant Troy Berklet provided a detailed overview of his own involvement in this distribution of cocaine. He identified his main source of supply and agreed to participate in making consensual recorded phone calls and source of supply to his source of supply, and made a surveillance visit to that individual's residence.
Prior to Scarface exposing Lil Troy taking the stand, Lil Troy retaliated to Scarface's diss song G Code by releasing a DVD called Paperwork. On this DVD, Lil Troy also accused Scarface of being a snitch, as there was an instance of Scarface informing law enforcement of a cocaine dealer named Big George. I must note that Scarface wasn't aware that he was speaking to law enforcement, as they were undercover, which is stated in the paperwork.
On February 22nd, 1999, a confidential source and an undercover agent were introduced to an individual who later identified as George Washington Simmons. The confidential source early on that day met with Brad Terrence Jordan at his residence located at 12618 Waterside Way, Houston, Texas. Jordan is a recording artist for Rap-A-Lot Records label. The current source stated that during his or her visit with Jordan informed the current source that he had spoken to his cocaine supplier and that the current source should contact Jordan later on the evening to arrange a meeting. Later on that evening, the current source met with Jordan, an unknown black male, at a location near Highway 288 and Airport in Houston, Texas. Jordan introduced the unknown black male as G, his cocaine supplier.
There's a lot of stances on this situation, as some people believe that this is a form of Scarface snitching to the police, But others state that this doesn't classify Scarface as a snitch, as he didn't know that he was speaking to undercover police. It's also suspicious that Scarface didn't get picked up on conspiracy, as he knew who the cocaine dealer was, and he was also involved in setting up a drug deal, which further proves that Scarface might have did some underhand deals in order to not be convicted of any charges. Lil Troy also released a series of disses to Scarface, as he put out an album alongside the Paperwork DVD. If I'm being 100% honest, Lil Troy's diss tracks on this album is probably some of the worst I've ever heard.
Why you hating, face down? Cause you ever stop my chill. Talk to police, nigga. Stop lying. I seen the affidavit. Your name was on the line.
It's understandable why he doesn't hop on the mic, as his flow and delivery is atrocious. I find it hilarious that he campaigns no snitching on these diss tracks when he himself is on Paperwork cooperating with law enforcement. Another well-known Texas artist jumped in the mix, as he felt it was his duty to defend his label mate. Pimp C was signed to the same label that Scarface was signed to, which is Rap-A-Lot Records. Pimp C didn't appreciate Lil Troy accusing his label mate of being a snitch, and he decided to speak his mind in interviews. Pimp C went on record to state that Lil Troy was involved in snitching on several individuals within the Houston area. Lil Troy was confused by this, as he didn't have an issue with Pimp C. He felt as though Pimp C only targeted him because he supposedly exposed Scarface of being a snitch. In later interviews, Lil Troy would go on record to state that there was a conspiracy to tarnish his name by way of J Prince and Rap-A-Lot Records. He stated that the attacks from Scarface came out of nowhere, as he didn't have an issue with him. There are videos of Lil Troy dissing Pimp C, stating that he isn't a real gangster, as he's never been involved in any type of street activities. Pimp C also took it upon himself to release a diss track to Lil Troy called Anthem, which is a diss track I never hear anyone mention. In Pimp C's diss track, he addresses the things that were said about him by Lil Troy in an infamous YouTube video, along with an interview. Lil Troy's YouTube video and interview is a response to an interview Pimp C did that involved him airing out a ton of dirty laundry when it comes to people in the industry. In this interview, Pimp C called out Lil Troy by calling him a snitch. Pimp C reiterates on this in his diss track, and he doesn't hold back when it comes to dissing Lil Troy.
You on the run like a fat snitch do. When you ride with that nigga, you a rat bitch.
Pimp C states that he didn't release this diss track on the behalf of Scarface. He released it because Lil Troy said that everyone on the Rap-A-Lot record label is fake, which is also an insult to Pimp C.
You think I'm riding for face, bitch? That ain't the case. I'm riding cause you said the whole Rap-A-Lot fake.
Just as I said before, Pimp C doesn't hold back on this track, as he constantly calls Lil Troy fat, stupid, and a snitch. One notable lyric involves Pimp C referencing Lil Troy's YouTube response to him. In this video, Lil Troy tells Pimp C that he knows where to find him if he truly has an issue with him. He also states that when he sees Pimp C riding around in his Bentley, he's going to take it from him.
Come see me, man. I be out every way, nigga. I'm ready to take one of the Bentleys. Come to the south side. Ride on the south side of the Bentley, fare it, and see what the happens.
Pimp C flexes on Lil Troy on this track, as he says that he has multiple Bentleys, and if he were to try to take them, that would be his last time breathing.
Say you don't take my Bentley, which one? Pussy nigga got a silver and a red. Bust your spleen and your liver.
I love Pimp C's delivery on this track, as it's hype and laid back at the same time. This greatly showcases his personality, which is that of a chill pimp that's about his business. He doesn't associate himself with people like Lil Troy, as they go against the G code. Pimp C also talks about how it isn't gangster that he sued Scarface. Pimp C is confused by this action, as he thought that Lil Troy was gangster. Pimp C states that gangsters don't sue people, as they're known to handle their business in the streets.
What kind of motherfucker claim to be a real nigga and call the laws on me? Bitch, I thought you was a gangster, bitch.
I like the monologue at the end of this track, as it starts off with Pimp C saying that he isn't going to say Lil Troy's name on the diss track, as he might sue him like he did Scarface.
Nigga, we ain't say your name, cause you like to take niggas to court and sue a nigga.
Pimp C also references something Lil Troy said in an interview that involved him questioning Pimp C's gangster. Lil Troy states that Pimp C's criminal record doesn't match up with his, as he went to jail on a drug charge. Lil Troy said that there's no way Pimp C is gangster, as he went to jail by pulling a pistol out on a female. I love when Pimp C said to combat this. Pimp C states that it doesn't matter what someone did to get locked up, as they got caught doing whatever the thing was they weren't supposed to be doing. This leads to Pimp C calling Lil Troy stupid for not realizing this.
My criminal record don't compare to you. Bitch, no flash. If you went to jail, bitch, and lost and you got caught.
Pimp C's delivery when he cusses out Lil Troy on this track is absolutely hilarious. Another highlight on this track is the Savage instrumental, which involves Pimp C flowing effortlessly throughout. Sadly, Pimp C died shortly after this diss track was released. There are many conspiracy theories surrounding his death, as many people believe that foul play was involved. Pimp C was known to speak his mind when it comes to the music industry, and many people believe that he said certain things in order to put a target on his back, which could have resulted in his death. Lil Troy was not able to make amends with Pimp C because of this, but him and Scarface have reconciled their differences. Lil Troy has gone on record to state that him and Scarface are best friends, and they talk on the phone almost every day. One thing I must point out is that there are a lot of people that don't understand how Lil Troy and Scarface are friends. I definitely understand where they're coming from, because the point that they bring up involves Scarface forgiving Lil Troy for putting his friend behind bars. If it's true that Lil Troy was responsible for putting a man behind bars and potentially ruining his life, why would Scarface forgive him in that instance? He literally had the paperwork himself, which blatantly states that Lil Troy took the stand. But I'm just here to talk about the outcome of this beef. Just like I said before, I understand people's confusion of this, but I can also understand the instance of not holding a grudge and moving on with your life in a positive way, as one doesn't want to continue to beef with someone. In Scarface and Lil Troy's case, they don't want to beef with each other anymore, as it's going to lead to nothing. They'd rather set aside their differences and embrace one another for the things they've done for Southern hip hop and rap music in general.
Talking shit on YouTube, know your planes on the roof. Why the fuck you buy a seal?
Hustling on the block trying to get the rent paid. Dropped out of school cause I couldn't make the grade. Now
Tommy Burns moved from Detroit, Michigan to Fort Worth, Texas at a young age. While in the area, he immersed himself in the streets, which led to a multitude of things that altered his life in ways he couldn't imagine. In the year 1991, an unknown assailant shot Tommy Burns in the back of the neck and head with a 12-gauge shotgun. This led to his face being somewhat disfigured as the shooting took out a chunk of his flesh. When this happened, Tommy came to the realization that he should be a rapper, as his dealings in the street life would be an interesting story to tell. This led to him coming up with the rap name Twisted Black, which references his appearance along with his treacherous lifestyle in the streets. In 1995, Twisted Black made his debut alongside Sean Jackson. They refer to themselves as a duo named One Good Side, which references the phrase, "There's one good side to every story." I also believe that the name of the group references Twisted Black's deformity, as he supposedly has one good side to his face. During this time, Twisted Black was on an uphill battle as he tried his best to pursue his rap career. He seemed to always find himself in legal trouble as he was in and out of jail. In the early 2000s, he caught his big break as he began getting noticed by major record labels. In the year 2007, he signed with the record label TVT and soon released his critically acclaimed album Street Fame, which held his most notable song called I'm a Fool With It.
I'ma till my cup, I'ma blow my trees, I'ma ride 20-somethings under my Capri.
Sadly, his momentum will be cut short as he will be sentenced to 30 years in prison for conspiracy drug charges. It will later come out that the prosecutors didn't have evidence that Twisted Black sold drugs. This led to him serving 16 years in prison, and he will later be released in the year 2023. I find it crazy that as soon as Twisted Black got a record deal and was gaining momentum in the rap industry, he would be sentenced to prison for something that the government couldn't even prove. There's an interview where he talks about crying in his cell because of this revelation, as he heard the artist Rich Boy on the radio, who had a popular song at the time called Throw Some D's. Twisted Black said to himself that his rap career is over, as Rich Boy is going to take his place.
I still remember the first night I was at Beaumont, I went to Beaumont, and I cried in the cell. It wasn't I was crying because I was locked up. They was playing Rich Boy selling that, and that bum, bum, bum. So I'm listening to him like, oh, this kid finna blow up and take my spot. And I knew it right then. I said, I ain't gonna never do it again. And I cried, right? For real tears the first night, you know what I mean? So, I guess it was doom and gloom.
But let's go back to before Twisted Black signed to TVT Records and released his notable song, I'm a Fool With It. In the year 2005, he decided to kick the door down in the rap game by taking out other MCs that were on top at the time. Twisted Black was coming for their spot, and his mission was to lyrically destroy them. This led to him releasing a diss track aimed at T.I. and Lil Flip called Ain't No King. This was a common tactic that was used in order for a rapper to get his name out there while showcasing his lyrical ability. Twisted Black wanted to let everyone know that he was a serious MC and he was able to battle with the best of them. Twisted Black definitely showcased his potential in a major way, as I believe this diss track is absolutely incredible. His performance on this song is captivating as he provides an intense delivery and great lyrics. I honestly feel like if Twisted Black were to get into a diss track war with anyone, he'd come out the victor, as his performance is that good on this track. track.
I'm tired of these flips and TIs. Next to me, both of y'all is a biatch.
Just as I said before, Twisted Black took a very familiar route when it comes to making his name buzz in the rap world. This entails him dissing big rappers at the time, and it's only right that he went after rappers in his region. Another thing that he didn't agree with was the statement made by T.I., which involves him referring to himself as the king of the South. To say something like you're the king of the South not only means that you're the king of your area, which in T.I.'s case is Atlanta, you're also saying you're the king of the South in general. For T.I. to make this big statement, it's inevitable for him to not be challenged by other rappers that don't agree with it.
Ain't no king, better watch what you say. Ain't no king, both of y'all bitch made.
Lil Flip was another rapper that had a name at the time, as he had a couple of hits in the years 2004 and 2005. Two notable tracks that I remember are Game Over and his track Sunshine. Flip was another artist from the South that was on the rise, which made him a perfect target for Twisted Black. In a more recent interview from Twisted Black, he talked about his state of mind while recording this song, which was that of showcasing the fact that he can battle with anyone. He also wanted to be on the throne, and he was willing to take out anyone in his way.
Was there ever any beef or friction between you and T.I. that you think of?
Like, I could just tell you this. Yes.
Okay.
T.I. was beefing with you.
Okay.
You might not have been beefing with me, but nigga, you was on top. Okay? And anybody could have got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's coming for him.
Just as I said before, he definitely did a great job showcasing this, and it's unfortunate that his music career was cut short as he did a phenomenal job on this track. The fact that he started to gain buzz 2 years later with his song I'm a Fool With It would have easily shed light on this diss track if he would have continued to blow up in his career. This could have actually led to a diss track war between himself, Lil Flip, or T.I. The world may never know, as Twisted Black was locked up shortly after he started to get his name out there. There's a lot of interesting things about this diss track that I like. First off, the instrumental has an addictive melody that plays throughout, and I like the dramatic feel of the beat. Twisted Black did an incredible job on his lyrics. I like how he talks about his upbringing and his past struggles on this track in order to let the listener know more about him. In the beginning of his verse, he talks about how he was born in the Midwest, but lived most of his life down south. He lets the listener know that he reps Texas to the fullest and is more than willing to sit on the throne when it comes to southern hip hop. He also talks about the time he got shot in the head, which was a traumatic experience in his life, but he lets everyone know that he bounced back from that, and this incident only made him stronger.
12 gauge blast to my cheekbone. Laid in the street, came back though. I still go.
His disses towards T.I. and Lil Flip are really good, as he denounces their status in the rap game. The chorus on this track is really catchy, as he tells T.I. and Lil Flip that they're not kings. When Twisted Black recites his monologue at the end of this track, he talks about how they didn't even surpass people like Scarface and other southern artists that came before them. Now that I think about it, Twisted Black didn't even refer to himself as the king of the South on this track. He just doesn't like the fact that T.I. claimed this territory, which he's willing to defend. He reiterates on this during his monologue, as he tells T.I. to keep his king of the South rhetoric in Atlanta.
And T.I., keep that shit in Atlanta, baby. It's Texas down here.
Another thing that happened during this monologue segment is Twisted Black talking about an instance where he was in the presence of Lil Flip. He talks about how he sensed fear in Lil Flip, as he didn't want to take pictures with the people in the room as they were potential convicts. This is another reason why Twisted Black decided to diss Lil Flip, as he doesn't have a street bone in his body.
Lil Flip, man, come on, man. You know when you was at the studio, niggas smell pussy on you. You told me you ain't want.
Just as I said before, Twisted Black definitely showed great potential on this track. The passion within his delivery is incredible, and he would have definitely made a major impact on the rap game if he didn't get locked up. This is an incredible diss track all around, as he did a great job addressing his disliking for the rappers Lil Flip and T.I. This is another one of those beefs where the opposing parties aren't involved. T.I. and Lil Flip probably don't even know that this diss track exists, as I believe it wasn't officially released. It appeared on a compilation album Down for Whatever, and I don't know how popular that project actually is. I do believe that Lil Flip may be aware of the diss track, as he's from Texas as well, but there is still a high chance that he doesn't know that this track exists. If Twisted Black didn't go to prison shortly after he released his most known song, I'm a Fool With It, his diss track would have definitely been more in the spotlight. As time went on, Twisted Black served his sentence, which was cut short as there wasn't enough evidence in his drug case. He's been released now for more than a year, and he's sharing his story on a multitude of platforms. His story is definitely interesting as it involves a ton of hardships, along with him overcoming his struggles and continuing to thrive in life. We can only speculate what Twisted Black's career would have been like if he didn't go to prison, but I honestly feel like he would have been a big rapper, as he showcased great potential on this diss track, and when it comes to this series, he definitely has one of the best obscure diss tracks.
Ain't no king, both of y'all bitch made. Ain't no king, man, these waters in the streets run deep.